Welcome back, good friends. I'm Brian.
I'm Aaron.
And this is the No Direction Detail podcast, where we start off with a subject that's within the realm of detailing. Today's subject is going to be the reality and real-world expectations of coatings. But from there, we normally go off the tracks really quick.
Really quickly.
And where we go from there?
I think we're going to do popular cars from every decade.
Yes, from the 50s up to today's modern time. Each decade has a handful of wonderful cars, and Aaron and I are going to share our favorites from that area and those time periods. And you also have a list that's from...
Yeah, I did some homework, and I got a really weird, strange list that I think is from Car and Driver, and then doing more homework and more research, I found a site called Slash Gear, and I think that they had a much better comprehensive listing, basically based upon cars that were purchased through each decade. So we have one that is just popular, and then you have one that is based upon sales.
And a lot of those lists are made by people that have no idea what...
I was reading this. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Uber is on this list.
You're gonna love. But first, we need to pay some bills.
Yep. So we're here because of the House of Rags. Make sure that you get the BC line and the Phoenix line using the link and the code down below. You can save some cheddar, and you can help sponsor the show. So buy some swag, buy some cool stuff, buy his products, buy my products. The House of Rags, everything that you need to detail your ride.
So, before we get started with car...
That
was the shop manager.
What was that?
I don't know what it was. Hairball.
Get it.
I get it.
So we're doing hot wings in this episode, and perhaps she is smelling some of that triple atomic over there.
Yeah, some of these, they look pretty hot, and I think she's getting a whiff of that. She's always right next to us, so we do have a couple beers to keep the tongue cool. We have our emergency go-tos.
Yeah.
For me, listen, guys, if you want to talk about a weak link when it comes to hot wings, I'm it. If I can get past the first one, I would be surprised.
So
honey barbecue is spicy. So
because I know a lot of you guys like to play it at home with us, we're doing Wingstop wings, and they are progressively getting hotter. So we start with the I want to say Hawaiian. I took a picture of the menu. Yeah. So this is the Hawaiian. Then we go to garlic parm. Then we go to hickory smoked barbecue. Then traditional mild. Then we go to Louisiana rub because, Jamie is in Louisiana. And then we have spicy, what is that?
Korean
spicy Korean. And then we have the Ragin' Cajun. And then finally, we end with the atomic. So,
and if I get to here, I'd be surprised.
If you guys watch the old show, I don't know if you can still find it because I believe it was on Eddie's old channel, but you can definitely find it on Phoenix's channel. We did the hot wing special where I guess Jamie lost a bet to Eddie. And so therefore, Jamie called me up and was like, hey, do you think you would, in solidarity, would you eat some hot wings with me? And so I did the hot wing challenge with Jamie on Eddie's show. And although I completed the challenge, it wrecked me for 3 days. It was bad. So I don't have the highest tolerance, but I am stubborn, and I usually find a way to just forge through.
I have no tolerance, and Scoville is my enemy.
Yeah.
My sworn enemy. All right, so before we get started with the fun, let's talk about some realistic expectations when it comes to coatings. Very important. We always try to cover some important detailing knowledge before we really head off the tracks.
Great. I'm looking forward to it. This week alone, I've had a couple of conversations with people regarding, you remember I called you and I was just like, what do I do? Because they're saying that there's a failure, but I don't think it's a failure.
Yes. Clogged coatings.
Yeah.
We'll go over that. Let's head over to some cars and talk about that.
All right, sounds good.
All right, so we're standing in between two vehicles that they not only got paint protection film, but we always top it off with a ceramic coating. And a high percentage of the coatings are going to be our longer term coatings. And what I wanted to talk about today was the real world expectancy and the lifetime of a coating. Because I know, ours is rated, for an average about 5 years, maybe more if you can really dig deep and get the customer to show up for maintenance visits and maybe even have them maintain it properly between our visits. But you'll see coatings out there, guys, advertised for, 7 years, 8 years, 10 years, lifetime coatings. I don't know exactly what their plan is, but there's no singular coating out there that is going to make it that far. You have anything you want to add to that?
No, you're 100% on.
Yeah.
You're 100% on.
So when it comes to coatings, polysiloxane, SiO2, name all the different coatings out there nowadays. You got graphene.
Yeah.
You have,
It's silica dioxide, but that's not really a coating.
yeah. What's the stuff that you have in your wax,
The Teflon?
Yeah, Teflon coatings out there. Yeah. So many different types of coatings out there, guys. They're not going to make it past 5 years. I've been around long enough to see it. I've witnessed it. And especially if it's not maintained or even washed properly, you're lucky to reach 2-3 years.
Right.
And a lot of the times these coatings, they're clogged. They're still protecting, but they're either clogged or their hydrophobic or hydrophilic properties have been worn down to a point where they're not.
You also, sorry to interrupt you, but they also, polysiloxane in particular is very porous.
Yep.
And so, when you're flying through the air down the road, all that debris, the contaminants, all that can get into it. And so I don't know if you've ever seen the way that it's supposed to react, the beading properties and all of that stuff, when there is an impurity in there or a contaminant in there, it's just going to automatically, it's going to break that bubble. It's not going to have that water behavior that you would expect from a coating because it's being impacted or affected by the contaminants in the.
Sure, and especially down along the lower portion of the car where the wheels and tires of your own vehicle splash contaminants, road film, and you can actually see a line where it beads like crazy towards the top of the vehicle, and then from this line down, it's dead.
Oh yeah, Chelsea. I think last year or 2 years ago, maybe she had a Jeep come back that had the Kronos on there, and the hood remained okay. And the roof was okay, but right along here, it was tortured because they were going through tunnel washes all winter long. She didn't see the guy for almost, I think she said it was over 6 months before she saw the guy. So he went an entire 2 seasons of just tunnel washes and zero maintenance. And so it looked like there was a failure here, but up here and up here was perfectly fine. And I contributed a lot to the chemicals that are used in tunnel washes.
Yeah, and so many factors. If you live near the coast and you have salt water from the sea, that really has an effect on coatings as well. But when you have a coating on the car, you have to wash it at least once a week. With a pH neutral, at least. If you have the 3 pH system from Labo Cosmetica, I just talked to you about that this week.
Can I tell you a secret?
Yes.
Just this week.
Yes.
We are developing, or this past week. This past week.
A little louder.
Oh, this past week. I'm trying to tell you a secret. I don't want flock of seagulls to hear me. Anyway, we're developing a high pH soap, and it's being tested right now.
Well, get the other end and do the lower end and cover all the bases because you need the pH neutral. You want to clean the dirt off initially, so you can get the surface, where you could see it, where you could see its characteristics. Spray it with water, see what it's doing, and then you have the high and the low pH to go after either traffic film with the alkaline higher pH, and lower pH acidic to go after hard water contaminants. If you have those three, you should be able to unclog a coating. But even if you don't see the strong hydrophobic and hydrophilic characteristics come back to life, that doesn't mean the coating's not there. It means just those characteristics have worn from the coating. But yeah, even if you do that right perfectly, you should take your vehicle back to whoever applied the coating once a year, so they can take a look at it, they can clean it, and then they will boost it. They will top it.
Yeah, maintenance is very
Toppers are a
important.
must.
It's very important from what, the education that I was given. Think of it like a river. The Grand Canyon is a perfect example. Water is the ultimate dissolving solvent.
Yeah, it's a solid.
And water will go to the path, excuse me, the path of least resistance. So on the car lines, that's where your water is going to travel, and it'll wear away at a coating in that place more than it would, say, somewhere else. And if you get a failure in one area, then it's eventually going to just immediately destroy the rest of the coating. It's not going to be able to survive. It's designed to kind of be a candy coating shell.
Yep. So the moral of the story that we want to share with you is, if you see these coatings advertised 7 years, 10 years, 8 years, lifetime, I run like hell because I just know the reality of the situation.
Unless you're leasing and you're going to give it away for free and give it back to the dealership in 3 years.
Well, the important part, what you want to keep in mind is the thickness of these coatings. We're only talking about a micron or two.
Right.
And what it takes to come out of a 50 milliliter or 100 milliliter bottle and put that layer of a coating on your car, that's pushing it. So if they talk about something that is mils thick when it comes to a coating, run like hell. If they talk about something that is hard as diamonds, run like hell. A coating is only as hard as the surface it is applied to. It doesn't make your clear coat harder. It scratches just as much as the clear coat you put it on. So you have to watch the way you wash your car. Stay away from the tunnel washes if you can. If you can't, keep them down to a minimum. Your one bucket, multiple mitt wash is the way to go to keep the marring down. The way you dry it, if you can use forced air from a leaf blower or a shop blower, that is the way to go. And you can do a lot on your own and then send it back to the detailer once a year, whoever put the coating on, so they can maintain it and boost it for you, and you will be very happy.
So you're saying that even though I coated my car, I should stop putting boxes on the hood and on the...
Yeah, stop putting boxes. If it's a police car, stop throwing your perps on the hood.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. I thought that there was a force field of magic.
No, it's not a force field.
Who knew?
They're not impervious. Another shortfall is they can't stop rock chips. So if rock chips, they are a worry. I mean, I know you have some of the coatings out there like Vevify, Revivify, whatever it's called.
He's speaking. He does not speak for both of us.
Or Rycon Ocklear or Icon Rocklear or whatever they are. I'm skeptical of what they can do. If they're not applied correctly, they look like hell. So if you have the right technician to apply them and you maintain the vehicle, you may get long life out of them, but they're not anywhere near the protection that paint protection film can give you when it comes to rock chips. I can promise you that. So paint protection film first, coating second, and we just gave you the real life durability and what you can expect from a coating. And what you do with that information is completely up to you. Anything you want to add to that?
No. Listen, I know this is going to sound very sycophantic, but it's not. Like, you have been my master from the beginning, teaching me how to detail. So I rarely can contribute more than he can. So
Well,
that's why we're doing pop culture next.
let's hop over and jump into the pop culture
I
because
can't wait.
I'm ready to go.
All right.
I'm a sissy when it comes to wings, but I want to see how far
This
I can go.
by the way, this was his idea. The guy that doesn't do spice, he was like, let's do hot wings next
You
week.
guys
And I was
know,
like,
and I always tell you, step out of your comfort zone. I don't like to be comfortable, so this is, one way I could step out of my comfort zone. I'm going to be probably in agony for the next 3 days.
hopefully you make the gauntlet. I know I'm going to try. Sissy.
All right, so let's get into this. Let's first start talking about the cars, and we'll take a break every once in a while and test these wings.
Just for the record, Just for the record.
So we're going decade by decade.
1970s is the best.
70s are the best. 1974. So we're starting from 20 to 2025. We'll get that short period over with, and then 2010 to 2020, 2000s to 2010, and so on. We're going to go all the way back to the 50s. So many iconic cars to cover. These first couple categories we're going to kind of blaze through because the newer cars to me are boring. There's not much of a story to them. Yeah, they could be cool, but I really don't have much to add to them when it comes to a story. They're new and, maybe a little exciting, but I guess. So let's just get this one over with, and then we'll start with the first wing. So this is the year 2020 to present day, 2025.
Okay.
Now we have our list of our favorite three.
Yeah, we'll do that. Do that at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as far I don't have sales from this current decade. So the most popular car, according to like I said, I think this is Car and Driver. I could be wrong. Is the Uber. The Uber, yeah. The best car from the latest decade might not be a car. In fact, it might be a smartphone app valued at over $60 billion, which is not incidentally more than the market caps for GM, Ford, FCA, and Tesla combined. So, yeah.
Okay. Like I said, these lists are never made by anybody that knows anything about the category.
Exactly.
What the hell? They just pull them out of a hat?
It's ridiculous.
Let's get Tim from the mailroom to come up and do our list.
All right.
The hell? All right. So for me, 20 to 2025. Number one, C8 Corvette. Now, these aren't my favorite Corvettes.
Okay.
C7, the C6, the split window, those are my favorite vets. But from this time period, that car is iconic. It had a hell of an open and really stirred up the car culture and the way vehicles are sold at dealerships, going 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80,000 over market value. So I got to mention them. And then to me, number two, the Mercedes AMG S63, because nothing beats an interior of a Mercedes, and I just love how they integrated some of the screens, the tilted screens with the dash screens that go across, and then with their speaker grille design and their diamond stitched seats. Their interiors are incredible and comfortable, and it's a sexy ass car. And then number three for me, I always have to mention, I'm not a Ford guy, but I do respect the Ford Shelby GT 500. Nothing sounds better than the stock exhaust on some of those beefy Mustangs, and they sound incredible. So those are my top three.
Okay.
Really not much more to add because these cars are so new. There's not much of a story to go with them.
All right. I don't really.
Nothing?
Nothing. I like trucks. You and I talk about it all the time. I always want, I want Phoenix to make as much money so I can buy a Titan, and I can say it's the Titan bought, but
Yep.
I think they discontinued them.
I like trucks too.
Yeah.
Mine's sitting right there.
Yeah.
Waiting for me to.
It's pretty.
And it's a big beast.
It
It's big.
sure is.
That one's a big stinky.
You're gonna have to.
It's a stinky diesel.
You're going to have to get a stepping stool to get in that thing.
I do need a stepping stool and a ladder.
So that answer is going to be standard all the way through the 80s, just so you know. Trucks.
Trucks.
I don't have much to contribute as far as favorites.
That's fine.
Okay.
You could just chime in and name your.
Oh no, I'm excited about this episode. I told you a couple weeks ago. I was like, I don't know. I don't really bring a whole lot to the. Cars never really. I remember a lot of my friends had like posters of Porsches on the walls and Ferraris and Lamborghinis and all of that stuff. I had Arnold Schwarzenegger all around my room. Posters of Predator
I thought
and
maybe
Commando.
you were going to say you had Richard Simmons.
No.
Well, if you didn't have cars.
Stop! No. Anyway, so in the 2010s, so that would be 2010 to 2019, The most sold vehicle was the Toyota Camry.
Yes, reliable, absolutely. The Camry, you can't beat their engines are incredible.
And the
Boring to look at, boring in the inside,
Yeah.
boring in the outside, but they will move you around forever.
That's what it says. It said you could pretty much, like when it was first introduced, they said like you could drive it literally until the wheels would fall off.
Yes.
It would last forever.
Yeah, from what I remember, and this is going back before that, the early 2000s, the Avalon was one of the most reliable engines in a Toyota or a Lexus. So
And then as far as the most popular, they said if there's a car that could be plausibly argued more important than the Model T is the Model S Tesla.
yes, yep.
And the other one was, no, that's it. Sorry, the other one from earlier. But yeah, so they're saying that the Tesla was the most popular car, whereas Camry sold the most.
And if your Tesla or your Cybertruck is getting trashed right now, I feel bad for you. That's almost like I mentioned this in a video where one of the cars that I picked up from the auction was vandalized, and it had key scratches. Actually, on my X60 wagon, it was keyed. Why do people take it out on the car? I don't get that. I don't get it at all. Now, with Tesla, I guess there's some politics behind it that I don't want to get into, but this is being done by people that are behind the environment.
Yeah, that's
I don't get it.
It's
but
bananas.
Why take it out on the cars is my point. So if you know why, let me know down in the comment section. Before I give my 3 in that 2010 to 2020 period, let's start off with a wing.
I think so.
Which one is it?
Yeah, we're going to go with this one first.
This one here.
And that is
That's right here.
That's the Hawaiian, which they said is their most mild sauce.
Let me get some paper towels ready. Most mild sauce, yeah.
That's
Well,
what they said.
I'm already starting to pucker up here.
And here we go. Cheers. bud.
Cheers.
Boop. Yeah, there's nothing to it. That one is sweet.
Sweet and spicy, bold and spicy, maybe. I could taste the spices in there.
No, you can't.
I could taste
No, you can't.
the pepper and the
Baby food has more spice than that.
crack.
What are you talking about?
Well, thank goodness it doesn't have the consistency of baby food. Because these wings are rock hard
They
as
are.
they're getting colder.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, there's no spice. Come on.
That's a bold and spicy.
No, it's not.
It's almost like a bold and spicy A1 sauce.
You are you, how many of these have you had? Because you have to be drunk if
Oh,
that's.
not enough.
Come on. That is there's nothing there.
Wings are okay.
It's almost teriyaki-ish. I guess they're trying to go with they say it's Hawaiian, so maybe there's a pineapple citrusiness to it. I guess, but it's just sweet.
Yeah,
to me.
that's a hotness rating of 0 for me.
Good.
And you,
Good.
right?
Well, for me for sure, but
Okay.
I wouldn't even say
I just
bold
wanna
or
make sure.
spicy. I wouldn't use the word spicy with that.
I don't know. We're going to see how far you go.
No, like I said, I was able to go to the bomb and above with Jamie. It hurt me for 3 days. So I don't necessarily know if I want to wander back into those
No,
waters.
I can't go through 3 days of that, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I'll go as far as I can.
All right. So now it's your top 3 from that era.
So I have 3, and again, these are, they're only a couple years old. They don't have much history behind them yet, so I can't add much when it comes to stories. But number 1, the SRT Hellcat Challenger, the Red Eye.
I got to ride in one of those.
Oh,
It was like being in a first generation Transformer. It had these 3 buttons where it was like, easy driving, whatever, and then it hit like battle mode. And when you hit battle mode, the front went down and the back went up. And it just like the whole thing just felt angry. And then he slammed the gas, and it put me into the seat.
yeah.
It was wild.
To me, the only thing that sucks you back in the seat, a production car more would be an electric car of some sort. But Yeah, if you're not making a turn, the Hellcat is the way to go. You know, down the drag strip.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Don't turn.
Yeah, that's exactly what he did. It was a straightaway.
And then number 2, any Lexus ES from that era. You're talking about an engine that will last forever, comfort, a nice looking interior, a nice looking outside for the most part. Some of the sides and the back end on those get a little wonky, but good looking car, inside and out, run forever. So Lexus for me, I would always look for one of those. And then I have to sneak a truck in there because I'm also a truck guy, and that would be the Ford Raptor. Became popular.
That's a nice looking truck.
Yes.
I do enjoy that truck.
Yep. So that's my top 3.
All right.
Do we want to go to 2000 to 2010, or do we want to hit a wing?
It's up to you. We have 8 wings to eat, and you're probably not going to make it through all 8 of them. So we can spread it out if you want, or we can just whatever you want to do, Chief. This is, I'm the Robin to your Batman.
That might be a good idea. Okay, the time period of 2000 to 2010. Now we're starting to get into cars that have been around long enough. They have history, they have a cult following, they have a story to tell. What does Tim from the mailroom have to say?
Tim from the mailroom says that the 2 most popular vehicles of 2000 to 2009, 10, whatever. The first one was the Toyota Prius. It's iconic that the first Prius hit the U.S. markets during a period of peak SUVs. Toyota spent years and billions developing the anti-SUV and relatively modest, homely 4-door with a secret weapon under the hood, the hybrid Synergy drive.
That's interesting.
And the other one is the Porsche Cayenne.
All right, now he's starting to talk my language.
All right, just what the world needs, a slow Porsche. Boop.
Yeah, that guy needs to be slapped. The Cayenne and the Macan aren't bad.
However, this is the first time the list actually matches. The most sold vehicle was the Toyota Prius as well. So, most popular and the most sold Prius. Boop.
A Prius.
Yep. And a slow Porsche.
All right. Might as well just ride in a vagina. Guys, we would love to have your input and your favorite cars from these time periods. I would love to read over those down in the comment section and follow those as we're in the comment section during these videos.
100%,
So,
yeah. That's the best part. The best for me, interacting with you guys is my favorite, and especially if you get a guy like Franco in the chat rooms.
Oh yeah, some of you guys.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I'm in tears. Neil White's another one that throws zingers. This whole community is fantastic. Keith Firebird had me going.
Yep.
The other day, it was wild. So
keep it going, guys.
Yep.
All right. Another wing?
Yeah, let's do another wing. All right, so this would be the garlic parm, also in their zero spice category.
That would be this one?
Yes, sir. The yellowish garlic parm.
Cheers. Just a tip.
Just a tip, just for a second. Just to see how it feels.
Well, I got to say, I don't like that.
It's like pure butter.
I don't like the taste of that at all.
No, it's like...
What's that called?
Garlic parm. I don't taste any garlic.
There's no parm.
There's no parm.
It's just melted butter.
Definitely...
Well, there's no heat at all, so 0 when it comes to the heat factor for
Zero
me.
heat. And it tastes like a wing dipped in melted butter.
Yeah, the first one had more
Yeah, flavor.
flavor.
It's something, yeah. All right.
Moving right along.
Moving right along. Bump, bump, bump. All right, so now we're in the 90s, right?
1990 to 2000, guys. Let us know. Now we're getting into cars that have really been around for a while. They have an awesome story to them, a cult following again, and I want to know yours.
All right, so...
What does this Ludnick have to say? But
Tim from the mailroom says, the top 2 cars that were most popular during the 90s, the first one is the Ford Explorer. We have the Ford Explorer to thank for the dominance of SUVs in the U.S. auto market. Introduced in the early 90s, the vehicle transformed the rugged utility truck intended to be an expedition vehicle into the preferred set of wheels for the suburbanites with families.
Well, I gotta say, I do love the Ford Explorer, and trying to find an older, early 90s Ford Explorer is really hard these days, like the the Ford Explorer from the Jurassic Park movies.
Yeah.
That type of body. They're either rusted out or have 400,000 miles on them. They're just hard to find. If I find them, I grab them.
The other one was the McLaren F1.
Hey!
The McLaren F1 represents the pinnacle of the 90s automotive technology. The British supercar helped pioneer advanced carbon fiber construction and delivered performance no other production car could approach for more than a decade.
All right, so the McLaren, yeah, a great supercar. Out of all the supercars, maybe for me, the Lamborghini would have been favored. I'm not a Ferrari guy either. I don't know if you want to put Porsche, the GT3s. Well, not Cayenne. GT3 has a little bit more pep. But McLaren, I don't know. I like the way the cars open up with the, butterfly wing doors, but don't really do too much for me. All right.
It's $810,000 price tag, made it the most expensive car in the world. Well, the BMW V12 effortlessly produced 627 horsepower at a time when 500 was tough to come by.
Well,
there you go.
and that was the F1. Yeah, those are hard to come by. I believe that is one that is being redone on YouTube. I forget the name of the YouTuber, but he picked up a flooded McLaren F1 that was floating around after the hurricanes in Florida. So, yeah, they are very pricey. I think started out at 800, but probably going for 1 or 2 million by now.
All right. And then in the 90s, the Ford Taurus and the Toyota Camry emerged as top sellers, with the Camry becoming a symbol of the dominance of the Japanese car industry. So the two most sold vehicles in the 90s was the Ford Taurus and the Toyota Camry.
Okay. Camry? Yeah, again, the Camry, they run forever, so.
Yep.
1990 to 2000 for me, the 90s Acura NSX guys. And it was seamless and never changed for years. And it looked like a supercar to me. I was in love with it. The interior was blah, left a lot to desire, but the exterior always reminded me of a supercar, and I always loved that car. Number 2 for me, the C6, the Z06. C6 Chevy Corvette, the L57, the 7.0 liter. I've had all of them except for the split window, the elusive split window. I love my Vettes, and the C6 is amongst my favorites. A beautiful design. And then, we're going Chevy, and now we're going to go Japanese. The Honda S2000, guys. Remember the Honda S2000, a little convertible sports car of its day. Kind of reminds you of Mazda Miata.
I should buy a boat.
Convertible, manual, little car like that. A boat?
Yeah, that's a Corky Romano reference. He drives around a Miata, and he's just like, he does a whole bunch of coke. And he's like, I should buy a boat. But yeah, the Miata was his car. That's the reference.
Miata is a great affordable sports car. A great way to get started when it comes to sports cars if you're going to get into them. The Audi A8 V10, another, iconic supercar, sports car, really. Had a great sound to it. Actually, my Lamborghini Gallardo had the exact same engine. The only thing that was different were the pistons. The pistons were flat at the top of the V10 of the Audi, and on the Gallardo, they were a little bit curved to get extra horsepower out of it. 2 extra horsepower, whatever that made. So, yeah, that was a great time period when it comes to cars.
All right.
Absolutely.
I'm going to do, this is Smoky Barbecue.
Which one is that? This one right
This
here?
Smoky Barbecue.
So that would be this one right here.
Yes, sir.
Smoky
Number
Barbecue.
3, Smoky Barbecue. Do you guys prefer flats or drums? That's a endless debate question. I'm a flat guy.
I am a drum guy.
Well, there you go. What are you scraping off the sauce for?
That was a lot of sauce.
So what? I think this is the first one that they advertise as having a little bit of heat to it. So this is the first of what is known as their heat. Cheers. Oh my God, it's so hot. It's burning my, stop it. It
It has a spicy. Now we're starting to get true spiciness to it. Not hot.
not hot, but
And
yeah.
I am a wuss when it comes to that, so I would tell you if it's hot.
Yeah,
No.
it has a nice, I mean, as far as barbecue sauces go, it's a good flavor.
It is the most flavorful so far.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
I could do a bunch of those
Yeah.
with a couple
But
of beers. Absolutely.
I will say this. From tasting that one, now that we've entered into the spice zone, I can tell that they're gonna significantly start jumping.
They're going to be taking 3 rungs of the ladder at a time.
Because like you can feel it on the
I
tip,
can
on,
feel
your-
it
on your tongue. Yeah.
It's tingling a little
Yeah,
bit.
so it's
I'm worried.
It's coming.
I'm
It's
worried.
coming. I'm not one of those guys that are going to be like, I can just barrel through all this stuff. I know it's going to. When we move to the second plate, it's going to get real.
We still have one on this plate.
I know.
That's going to get real.
It's their mild. It's their mild sauce. Come on.
I told you, man. I can't do it. My mother always cooked bland because of the health issues that my father had. So not a lot of salt, not a lot of pepper, just a little bit of cracked black pepper every once in a while on the mashed potatoes, on the corn, and meat and potatoes type of family. So not a lot, bland. So you don't build up a resistance to the, what are they, capsins, whatever you call them.
I don't know.
Scovilles.
Oh, the Scovilles. Yes. All right. I didn't know what you were going. Sorry.
Mr. Scoville can shove it. All right, where are we at here?
We're about to dip into the 80s, I think.
1980 to 1990, I absolutely love these cars. No, we're going 1990 to, what is it?
I thought we just did 1990s. Yeah.
Okay.
We did, yeah, because the McLaren and the Ford Explorer were from the 90s. And the number one sold vehicle from the 90s was the Taurus and the Camry. So
We
yeah,
might
we
have skipped 2000 to 2010 at some point.
2000, that was the Toyota Prius and
Yeah.
the Prius and the Porsche Cayenne. So yeah, we
That's
did.
making my nose run a little bit.
Oh my God.
I just gotta say.
Yeah, you lost
don't
it.
mind the sneak.
Yeah, you lost an entire decade from eating barbecue.
Okay. So,
Yeah, we're on. You can rewind the film. I think we're on point. I don't know.
I think we went off track, just as usual. We can't even stay on track when it
Would
comes
you want to do
the
another
years of
wing and then
cars.
we'll do the 80s since we're burning through these?
No, let's go. We can give that last one a chance to simmer a little bit. 1980 to 1990s, wherever we are, I know we went off a little bit, but it is my favorite decade when it comes to cars. Oh my God, hands down. I had an 88 Pontiac GTA, metallic maroon color with the tan interior. It was the Recaro interior, T-tops, 5.7 liter Corvette engine in there, 2-port injection, so it was the TPI.
My first car ever, 1987 Hyundai XL hatchback.
Those are the ones where the windows used to fall down in the pockets. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was Hyundai's.
I didn't buy it in the 80s. I bought it in the 90s, and it was a death trap. It was awesome.
That was Hyundai's first kind of, get things up and going, and they had a bad reputation at that point. The windows would fall down in the pockets, the handles would fall off.
Yeah.
That was not a good experience.
Somebody sideswiped me on I-80 up near State College and rendered the entire door and useless. So I had a Dukes of Hazzard it in and out.
that sounds like the quintessential Hyundai of that period.
So according to Mailroom Tim, the Lexus LS 400, Toyota already had a stupendous reputation in the U.S. for building cars that always started, lasted forever, and were easy on the wallets and at the fuel pump. The company would have stuck with that paradigm forever, but thought, but what if we bring the Toyota way to the luxury market?
Yes, the LS 470 was, not too far after that came to be, and we did an LX 470 in the shop here. Did a lot of work to it, and did a lot of videos that these guys are used to.
And his other
They
pick,
last forever.
his other pick was the Dodge Caravan. Before Chrysler created the minivan, there were certainly vans, but they weren't aimed at carting around families. They were for deliveries and for folk who wanted to modify panel vans from the 70s.
I have one of those as well right now. That's what the puppy rides around in. Well, it's being replaced, but yeah, I could see that.
And the most sold vehicle in the 80s was the Honda Accord, followed by the Ford Escort and the Chevrolet Cavalier in later years. It was in the 80s, for the first time, the most popular car in the U.S. was foreign. Honda had blazed a trail selling fuel-efficient and reliable cars by selling them through the fuel crisis, cementing the Honda name in American car buying psyches.
Yeah, that was the era of the fuel embargoes and all kinds of.
Yeah.
So besides the '88 Pontiac GTA, the Ferrari, it's the iconic, the only Ferrari that I really enjoy, the F40 1987. Styling by Pininfarina, a beautiful car and worth millions and millions and millions of dollars these days. Guys, I would love to know your three cars from the 80s. So for me, the 88 Pontiac GTA, the Ferrari F40, and the 80s Buick Grand National T-Type. I love that car. Had the T-tops, just a beautiful G-body vehicle. I loved everything about it. And they are still popular today, hard to find, and very, very expensive.
I can tell you, this is, as far as my favorite popular cars, everybody and anybody that knows me knows that I love pop culture, that I grew up pretty isolated, and I spent a lot of time in comic books and watching TV and stuff like that. So when I think of an iconic car, when I think of my favorite cars, I immediately associate it with that stuff. As far as not being a car guy is concerned, I can tell you right now that the car used for the character Kit in the original Knight Rider was a modified 1982 Pontiac Trans Am.
Yep.
Now, my little list of favorite cars isn't necessarily from the 80s, but they're from TV shows that I watched in the 80s.
Yeah.
That's how I associated with that. So you got Kit from Knight Rider, which is a 1982 Pontiac Trans Am. It's, for me, that's iconic. That's,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Great car.
And then Magnum PI drove a red Ferrari 308 GTS, a 1979 308 GTS in season 1, and a 81 308 GTS SI for seasons 2 through 6, and an 84 308 GTSI Quattro Valvolo. How do you pronounce that? Quattro
Valvoline.
Valvoline, I don't know, for seasons 7 and 8. In the early seasons of Miami Vice, Detective Sonny Crockett drove a black 1972 Ferrari 365 GTS and a Ford Daytona Spider replica.
Absolutely, the Spider was great. The Magnum PI Ferrari, beautiful to look at. That drove like a piece of shit. that was. Everybody complains about those.
All right.
But beautiful car. Don't forget about the van from the A-Team.
The van from the A-Team. Well, I got the General Lee's, the iconic car from the Dukes of
gosh,
Hazzard,
yeah,
which
absolutely.
is a 69 Dodge Charger. Incidentally, Daisy Duke initially drove a yellow 1974 Plymouth Roadrunner, but later switched to a white 1980s Jeep
I remember the Jeep,
CJ7
yeah.
named Dixie.
Yep, I remember the long legs swinging out of the Jeep.
Yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. And then the iconic Ghostbusters car, known as Echo One.
Cadillac
it was
station wagon.
It was a 1959 Cadillac Miller Meteor ambulance hearse combination.
Guys, name some other iconic.
Yeah, what's your
movie
favorite?
cars.
Yeah, what do you see?
We just talked about this one when we were talking about the movies. The Phantasm had the '72 Cuda. That's probably on my list when we get it turned over here with the slam shifter. So many iconic cars in these movies.
This one is special to me. Everybody knows the Back to the Future. The Back to the Future time machine was a modified DeLorean DMC 12 sport car equipped with a flux capacitor that allowed for time travel. But what is special to this is that Marty McFly drives a black-lifted four-wheel drive 1985 Toyota SR5 extra cab pickup truck. And I was in love with that. I loved that truck. I dreamt about it. It was going to be the vehicle that I was going to buy when I was old enough and had enough money to buy a new car. And when that finally happened in 2002, I went for a test drive and it sucked. And I hated it. And so I ended up buying a Dodge Dakota.
Trivia question.
Yeah.
Whoever answers it down in the comment section wins a vial of the BC10 coating. What was the name of Biff's detailing company?
You were good.
It was on a little magnet sign on the side of that truck.
You were good.
Yeah,
That's
so
right.
let us know.
2 layers this time, Biff, not one. Okay.
By the way, the period that I believe we did skip, the 1990 to 2000s, the Acura NSX, which I mentioned, and the Mustang Fox body. That was a very popular Mustang. That's probably the only Mustang that I really enjoy besides the GT500. And a vehicle that I did have, a 1991 E30 M3. I had red with tan interior. That was the one with the flared fenders and flared quarter panels and a whale tail from factory. Now the M2 tried to emulate that without the whale tail. They have flared fenders and quarter panels, but that one there I wrapped around the tree. I bent that one in a U. I did that one up real good.
How familiar are you with motorcycles?
I had a lot of those as well.
So, and I know that you lived in the 80s with me, and I appreciate that about you. Do you remember the TV show Street Hawk?
Yes.
It was kind of like Knight Rider, but on a motorcycle.
Yep.
What was it?
That I don't know.
It was a 1984 Honda XR 500 for the regular season with a 1983 Honda XL 500 used for the pilot episode. Bump, bump, bump.
Yeah, I couldn't, I'm not one that could see a bike go by and name, especially the older ones in the 80s and 90s, because they all kind of look very similar. You know, I had...
Fonzie drove an Indian, right? I think he was on an Indian, if I'm not sure.
That is a good question. I could picture.
Let us know in the comment section if you can remember. I think it is an Indian, but it could be
Triumph?
It could be Triumph. Could have been a Honda. I don't know. I don't think it was a Honda in the 50s.
I had all Suzukis. The last one I had had a 1441 piston kit, but they all look the same to me too, as well.
Yeah.
But those are the ones where you're leaning forward and all your weight is on the wrists, and I couldn't take that after a while. So, I guess it's time for a Harley.
I think it's time for a Harley.
I think it's time for our next wing. Really.
I agree.
Oh boy.
Here
Now
comes. This is called mild. This is their mild one. It's mild.
Right,
the
you're-
orange one. It's mild.
I'm surprised.
So it's probably gonna make him cry.
I'm gonna have to scrape some of this off. Sorry.
Whatever.
Well, you did too. You
Well,
just knocked it
I wanted
off.
to drip all over my papers.
All right. Well, that's why I'm scraping just a tip.
Just for a second. I'm not a fan of this one either. It feels very much like the garlic butter or the garlic parm. It's just
There
kind
is
of.
no taste to it whatsoever. Now there is heat coming in at the end.
I'm choking. I'm not. It's not spicy. I'm just choking.
No, I mean I can feel it on my lips and my tongue.
Yeah, it has no flavor whatsoever.
No, that I agree. It doesn't have flavor.
Zero.
That is garbage.
Yep. I would not do that.
I think
ever
that's
again.
grease they scraped off of there.
I would never do that again. You know, mild is disgusting. Again, for me, zero heat. and zero flavor. So that is an all-around.
I'm saying, I think we're going backwards because the one before this had more
Yeah,
spice to it.
I agree. I agree. But if you look at the picture,
No, you're
hickory
100% right.
barbecue is below mild.
Let me get these out of the way.
All right, now we're going to the plate of death.
Give me that one.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Okay, anyway.
You are such a gentleman. All right.
All right. Now I really do think just by looking at these that we're going to take a huge step.
They look angry, don't they?
They do.
They look angry.
My stomach's going to be angry. All right. Now we're going from 1970 to 1980. Again, just such a beautiful time period for automobiles. What does this jejune have to say about it?
All right, Tim from the mailroom says, where are we? We're in the, where are we, 70s to 80s?
70s to 80s.
All right, 70s to 80s. First one is the Honda Civic. Detroit ridiculed the teeny fuel-sipping Japanese cars when they first arrived by force in the U.S., but by the time the first Honda Civic landed in 1973, Americans had experienced something shocking and new, a gas crisis. Bom, bom, bom!
Yeah, the Honda Civic. It's still popular if you could find one.
And then the other popular one was the Lamborghini Countach.
Absolutely.
Holy cow! It's what Countach means in Italian slang. Oh, did you know that? I didn't know that. Countach means holy cow.
No.
All right. It's also the expression people made the first time they set their gaze on this glorious machine at the 1971 Geneva Motor Show.
Beautiful car. I love the angles and the sharp, just a shape that everybody had hanging on their wall, except for Mr. Richard Simmons guy here.
Okay, so the most bought car in the 70s was the Oldsmobile Cutlass.
Hey, good car.
I will say this: although it didn't occur to me until 1980, my favorite vehicle of all time. Are you ready? The 1972 Ford LTD Country Squire station wagon. And do you know why in 1980 it became my favorite car of all time?
Because Chevy Chase drove it.
Nope. Well, that's true. Yes, that's true. But I wasn't into Lampoons at that. I was 6.
Other than that, I couldn't guess.
It had rear-facing back seats, so that I could be the guy that was shooting AT-ATs from the snow speeders in Star Wars Empire Strikes Back that came out in '80. So as soon as I saw that movie, I became the rear gunner. I became the rear gunner in that station wagon. And I mean, to talk about like every road trip, it was just like, Dax, ready, let's go.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but go ahead.
Star Wars,
Bad self.
Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back. The opening scene, they're on the planet of Hoth, and they have these snow speeders, and they have a rear gunner on the backside, and I get to sit in the rear-facing seats of a station wagon and be that guy. So, yeah.
Are those the things that Elon Musk is shooting up into the sky and put together?
Dak
Star Wars?
Dak dies.
Starlink?
Spoiler alert, Dak dies.
Okay, so I do have 3 favorites. One you would never guess.
Not as cool as a station wagon.
No. But a 1973 Chrysler Newport. These cars were the biggest. They were absolutely huge. The quarter panel was the size of a Mazda Miata. I mean, these things are like 20 feet long. I know my parents had one, so I was in the inside, and the insides were all my brothers, myself, still plenty of room to, elbow each other.
Yeah.
Another one, now 1972 Chevy Chevelle that was replaced by the Malibu eventually, but the 350 Chevy Chevelle, or did it have a 305? I forget, it's been so long, but what a beautiful looking car. Muscle, that was muscle at its finest. American muscle. And that was America's second best selling car of that time period. And Number 3, and this is the one that was in the Phantasm movie, this 1970 Barracuda Hemi-Cuda. That's the one with 425 horsepower, the slam shifter or the slap shifter. Just a beautiful vehicle, both of those side by side. That would be a picture to take in. You can even sneak in a 70s Mustang next to those 3, and that would be a poster for all. Great time period. And even the time period that we're going to talk about next was fun.
The 60s?
Yeah, absolutely. I wasn't around for it, but as I was growing up, the 60s cars were, they've been around at that point, so.
Sure. Yeah, I think that as Hollywood kind of progressed and followed along with it, that's when the big muscle cars started showing up, and American Graffiti and stuff like that.
60s and 70s, yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
Do we dare?
We're gonna have to. This one is still in their mild section of the menu. It's called Louisiana, and like I said, it's still
This wing place, is this
it's Wingstop. It's all around the world now, so
Okay.
you guys can follow along and play along.
I'm surprised that I made it this far.
Well, like I said, so this one is in the middle of the mild, and then the next one with Korean is at the top of the mild. So we got Louisiana in honor of our sponsor, Thor, the House of Rags, might I add. You make sure that you buy some stuff with using our link to support the show, and also use the promo code to save yourself some cheddar.
Down below.
Bump, bump, bump. And
That's this one here,
yep,
correct?
that's this one here. So in solidarity for Jamie the Cleaner, our favorite Louisian, I think it's Louisian, right? Or is it Louisianian?
Louisianian? Louisianian?
Louisianian.
Creole.
No, they actually the Raging Cajun's a little bit is 2 down, and that's going to probably kill me. The Raging Cajun's going to hurt, followed by Atomic. All right, here we go. Louisiana, just for a second. I just don't understand why their sauces are so oily.
They all have, oh boy. All right, that one has a kick.
Oh,
You gotta-
stop. It's like black pepper. It tastes like black pepper. It tastes like oily black pepper.
Black pepper's hot. That shit is hot. I'm sorry, but that's hot.
It's not. It tastes, seriously, it's like getting a mouthful of black pepper and oil. Oil and black pepper. Thanks, Louisiana. Whew. It says a crispy spice dry rub with a distinctive Cajun drawl.
I don't like it.
It's not first of all, it's not a dry rub. That's clearly wet. Maybe they put the dry rub maybe they put the dry rub in oil. That's why you taste oil.
I don't like the taste. I don't know about you. It's too oily.
That's what I'm saying. It's oil and black pepper. Like there's
This one has some heat, guys, and my tongue is burning. Not the back of the throat, but the maybe not even. Well, the lips and the tongue are burning a little bit, but this is one where you would get the heat and the taste from, and I don't get the taste, which is very disappointing from this popular chain.
Yeah.
Very disappointing. So okay, I can go to the next one.
I think you can. As a matter of fact, you said that you said earlier, you predicted that you were going to make it to Louisiana no problem. So I'm proud of you.
I won.
I'm proud of you. You only have 3 to go. I'm proud of you.
Well, we'll see about that.
If you reacted the way that you reacted
That was
to
pretty.
black pepper, Cajun's going to kill you.
Well,
I'm not giving you mouth to mouth. I know that's what you're ultimately
Well, I'm
going
not going to
for.
pull it out of that freaking puddle and take a bite out of it like that. I may have to go to the bathroom and rinse it off.
All
All
right.
right, where are we at?
We're in the 60s, bro.
60s. This is great.
We said that the most popular car was the Oldsmobile Cutlass for the 70s, right?
Yes.
All right. All right, Mailroom
According to
Tim.
this- Yeah.
Mailroom Tim says the 2 most popular cars were the 60s Volkswagen Beetle and the Ford Mustang.
Yes.
The people's car, as the Volkswagen was originally defined, was created by Ferdinand Porsche at the behest of Nazi Germany for a cheap vehicle for everyone to use. I would normally make a Nazi joke here, but I don't know if you guys can handle
We
jokes.
did get political. I just know that those that are beating up on the Teslas and the Cybertrucks are now driving VW. So
It's so ironic.
isn't it though?
Oh my
All right,
gosh. Let's move on. Yeah. The Ford Mustang. The iconic pony car was Ford's stab at giving a youthful American the car it sought in the mid-'60s. The car was an immediate success, but it also had its ups and downs. The second generation Stang of the 70s is now widely considered an embarrassment and unworthy of the name. The two-seater for the third generation became a legend. However, these are the famous Fox body Mustangs, and after 50 years, the Mustang is now better than ever.
The Fox body is very popular right now. Very popular. And hard to find. They had some rust issues. They had some, kids slapping them with, aftermarket parts that ruined them. We had a lot that are wrapped around trees like I've done already. Not many left. If you find one, grab it.
In the 60s, the Chevrolet Impala was the top-selling car, achieving a record of 1,074,925 units sold in 1965.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, the Chevy Impala.
There you go.
Well, I have three that I would like to mention. The 1969 Pontiac GTO. That came in a hardtop and a convertible. Pontiac GTO, that was just a beautiful, you knew what was coming down the road when you saw the GTO. Very hard to find again to this day, so that's another one. If you can find one, snag it up. The 1965 Shelby Cobra, the AC edition. So this was a British car powered by a Ford V8. And they now do four different, well, a lot more than that, but four main versions of a kit car. And they're still $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. It was hot. See, you're grabbing your beer there. Rinse it down.
I was just going to have a drink because, I don't want it to go to waste. And we're already in the 60s. But that's fine, Brian. I'm doing this for you, buddy. Come on. I'm doing this for you.
Trying to stay in the same level. Finally, from the 60s, the 1964 Aston Martin DBS. Who drove that car?
Bond. James Bond. Look at that.
Shaken, not stirred.
Yeah, not a car guy.
So that takes care of
Hey,
1960.
did you know that it's actually considered kind of feminine to be shaken, not stirred? And do you know why? Because apparently the shaking process helps water down the drink.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So you kind of take a point away from Bond for being kind of a sissy when it comes to alcohol.
Okay. We've talked about this before.
Okay.
Who is the best Bond?
I would argue.
I'd love to know the best Bond from you guys before we get started. I have one that rolls off my tongue right away.
And you're so. Originally, when we did episode 2, we decided that I thought we might do best Bond movies and rank them, and we got into this argument because he is clearly wrong about everything, and I am right about everything. Sean Connery is the iconic in Dr. No when the very first time that you hear the iconic music. So I could argue that Sean Connery is the best, followed by, in my opinion, George Lazenby. He was fantastic. As Bond, he checks all the boxes of what James Bond, secret British special agent, should be, is Lazenby. So I would say Connery because it's iconic, Lazenby because of performance.
Agree to disagree.
Yeah, okay.
Roger Moore was the quintessential James Bond.
Roger Moore.
Roger Moore.
Good grief. You might as well just be the man from U.N.C.L.E. at this point.
Without a doubt.
Ugh. So let's see here. I would say Connery, Lazenby.
Dalton.
You're just being hurtful. See, now here's the thing. I really, really, really want to like Daniel Craig. I really do, because I love what he brings. But for me, Bond is suave. Like he's just cool and
Smooth. Yeah, absolutely.
smooth. And
Yeah.
I don't think that Daniel Craig ever made the corner when he in the first movie Casino Royale. I thought that he could have made that turn. That was a perfect transition. Like once he became Bond, once he got the Bond status, make the transition and then be that suave, smooth is a good word, smooth turn. But he never did. He was just a brute sledgehammer the entire time through all of his movies.
Well, he only, to me, had one emotional characteristic throughout his movies, and that was
Yeah,
emotionless.
emotionless,
Or
angry,
or
angry,
Yeah.
emotionlessly angry.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. Well,
And did you notice that every one of his villains was just kind of feminine?
yeah.
Every one of the villains was just a little bit feminine.
And he played the same character in outside of Bond and all the other movies that except for the one where it was a bit comedic.
The Knives Out.
Yeah.
I did enjoy. I like
bit of
Knives Out.
comedy.
I like both of them actually. Both Knives Out was pretty good. I think the second one's called like Green Onion or something. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I
So
agree.
50 to 60s before we get into it.
You ready? You ready to
No,
take the plunge?
not at all.
Let's take the plunge.
Which one is
Korean barbecue. Korean barbecue. Look how saucy mine is because I am not you. All right, this is also the last one in the mild section of their menu. Just a dip.
Just a tip.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I like the taste of that, and I think we're going a step backwards when it comes to heat because I didn't
You didn't react to it.
get anything.
I like that one. It kind of reminds me of the very first one that we had, the Hawaiian, with a little bit of heat.
Golden spicy. Mm-hmm. So we were right there.
That's correct.
Okay,
I like that one. I could do
it
that.
has a little bit.
Yeah.
You could taste the pepper, black pepper, kind of on your tongue, or it could be that, or we're kind of getting acclimated to heat now.
You don't talk yourself into it.
Okay.
These next two are going to kill us.
I had to try.
I'm afraid. Like I saw how they made these two, and I'm afraid. But I like this one. This one actually had flavor with the heat, not just you know what I'm saying. Like that's the balance.
I think it was actually the best so far.
I agree.
Cheers.
I agree. Not like not like your
Show the logo.
not like your White Castle, but yeah, we finally agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Watch your mouth, White Castle. Best burger. Okay.
That was a reference to the last episode.
19. By the way, if you haven't watched the opening episode
Of
No Direction Detail,
oh yeah,
it's available. Scroll back.
it's a good time. We have a good time here, Brad. We have a good time.
Oh yeah, lots of fun.
All right, so now we're in the 50s, yeah?
50 to 60.
50 to 60. All right. Mailroom Tim says the 1950s Chevrolet Corvette and the 1950s Citroen
Oh, that was a French car.
DS, Citroen DS.
Yeah, it was almost looked like it only had one wheel on the back. It was a real goofy looking car.
Oh, well, apparently to Mailroom Tim, it was very popular.
Yeah.
The Citroen marked France's automotive comeback after World War II. Ahead of its time in both technology and styling, the DS has and always will be considered a pinnacle of the peculiar Gaelic, Aztec attitude towards
You
cars.
said that, not me.
Sleek, suave, worldly. Its iconic styling, advanced hydro-pneumatic suspension, and numerous Citroen design quirks made the DS truly unique. And then the Corvette, obviously you guys know what the 1950s Corvette looks like. The dashing roadster incarnation of the Corvette became street legal in 1953, while it evoked on a smaller scale some of the mods and trends of the 50s. It also looked forward to smaller, snazzier 60 rides such as the Ford Mustang.
Guys, 50s cars, gorgeous, have a beautiful heritage and story to them, especially on my list, the 1955 Chevy. That was not the 57 that everybody goes for, the more pointy 57. The 55 was a little bit more curvy. It had the shorter fins. They were rounded off. I just love the look of that car, especially when they're done right. With just a little bit, like the Craigers and maybe a bigger rear tire on them. But the 1953 Ford Victoria, this had a flathead in it, a V8 flathead. So it didn't have the valve covers. It just had the plugs coming right out of the top of the engine. And you can get a Continental kit for them, so that was extended the back and it put a spare tire. It kind of made it look luxurious like a Lincoln. But yeah, the Crown Vic, very classy older car. And finally, the 1959 Corvette. So that had the T-handle manual shifter. I love the tactical feedback. I drove one of those. Beautiful car, 4-speed transmission. And then another car in the 50s that we absolutely have to mention, the 1958 Plymouth Fury. Christine.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Brian, what was the most sold vehicle of the 50s?
Of the 50s? I have no idea.
The Chevrolet Bel Air.
The Chevy Bel Air.
Yep.
How many units does it say?
It doesn't say. There was the only one that had a number was the one that broke the record in 65.
Wow. And we'll do some, we're going to have another wing, and then we'll do some honorable mentions over the whole time period we just discussed that were left out and maybe we want to bring up.
And I can tell you right now, I know that your list only goes back to the 50s, but I can tell you which the most popular car that sold all the way back to the original vehicle.
Hey, the Ford T-Buckets.
That was not the first car.
No, not the first car, but they went back.
Yeah, the 1910s. That would be the most popular car of the 1910s, which was 1910 to 1919 was the Ford T.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, let's hit a wing, and then
If you can find
if
any
I
of
can,
those,
if we can survive this, then we can do.
That's why we kind of finished up the list here, and we'll do honorable mentions in case.
In case we have to,
incapacitate.
in case we have to shut it off. It's like, remember back when we were kids and the television would go, it would be like
It would
1
just go-
o'clock. We'd go to, we'll play the national anthem. We'll play the national anthem, and then it'll have the line bars, beep, and then it'll go to static.
If it did that, we called the fire company for my backside.
Oh, God bless you,
right,
man.
which one is it?
Only because it's you. This is called the Ragin' Cajun.
Bottom left. This looks nasty. This
Yeah.
stares at your face and says,
Look, there's no way it's coming off. It's so thick with just death.
I got a pressure washer. I can get it off.
You ready? Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Oh, this is good. All right, here we go. Ragin' Cajun. This is the first one in the hot zone.
That's burning my lip. Holy hell. And I didn't even start chewing it yet.
It's very salty. Very,
Yeah.
very, very salty.
I could taste pepperish things going on. Ooh,
Did you just do that on camera?
that was, I did that. I spit it back out. That was just the chicken had a flexy part of it. I got the sauce in my mouth. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. It's hot.
Okay, it's hot, but
It's hot and salty, so it doesn't really have, there's no flavor other than salt and heat. I'm all right.
there's no flavor to that. I can't.
I'm all right with it.
This chain.
I don't like it, but I'm not dying.
I gotta tell you, I think that this chain, she doesn't like it either. See, the chain that these came from, it blows. I'm sorry. If anybody's a fan of, what are these?
Wingstop.
Wingstop socks.
I have been told numerous times that Wingstop is not that great, but it is the only one in this area that we could get a variety of flavors, and that's ultimately what we were trying to do.
Right, and the sauces are either oily or salty.
Man, it's still coming. It's trying
burning.
to climb up in there.
It's still burning my lips and my tongue.
Huh? Yeah.
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'm going to try this last one.
Come on, see, we went on an adventure together.
How about that?
It's great.
I got artificial tears in my eyes.
Yep, it's a little warm. It's a little warm.
I'm going to have to just crack open the emergency
That's what I was thinking myself.
kit
That's
here,
what I was thinking.
and maybe even cleanse the
Yeah,
palate.
you know, they say that
chocolate.
dairy is supposed to help quiet down the heat.
Cleanse the palate. Maybe ice cream would have been the way to go.
Yeah, but I figured by the time we got here, it would have melted. Do you have a freezer or
Yeah,
anything?
we have a cooler.
Oh, all right, never mind then. Next time, I'll bring ice cream.
You know, it helps as long as you have your tongue drowning in the chocolate milk, but as soon as you swallow, the burn is right back where it's left off. It doesn't do shit.
Hey, I appreciate you doing this. I appreciate you going on this journey with me. Even though it was your idea, so you have no one to blame
After
but
this,
yourself.
you can bury it down deep and never bring it up again. 'Cause I'm not doing it again.
You know, I said that after Eddie and Jamie's podcast, but here we are. Whew. Big stupid Irish Mick.
Okay, some honorable mentions from me. The C3 Chevy Corvette. I had one of those. I had it on the channel. That's one where I took it from a stock one and I took it into a 24-hour of Le Mans. Curvy, beautiful curves. Had no power whatsoever. And the interior was kind of a little crappy, but back in the day, that was an iconic vet. The C4, which was the model after that, I thought was the ugliest vet that ever came out until I owned one, and now I look for them. So that's an honorable mention. I need another swallow here.
My honorable mention.
My lips are
Maybe you can tell
numb.
me. You can tell me more about this. My honorable mention is Transformers Generation 1. Prowl was the police car, and it was a Nissan Datsun 280 ZX.
280Z, yeah. Yeah, they were a fun car.
I loved Prowl in the cartoons because of that, and I had the toy. It was my favorite.
And that was modeled after an 80s version.
Yes, sir.
I think that car went up into the 90s. It had an upgrade, and that was a fun car as well. It had the flip-up square headlights. Oof. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna be all right.
You remember? Do you remember what was the name of that video game? What was the name of the video game? The cars, Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo. I played I think it was Gran Turismo 2. It was the edition that had Stone Temple Pilots doing the background. It had Garbage doing the background. There was a couple of like really iconic, cool songs. I had the Mitsubishi 2000 GTO. Is that?
There's a Mitsubishi 3000 GT.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved that car in that.
Yeah,
game.
those are hard to find nowadays too. The Mitsubishi Eclipse. I mean, so many cars with a lot of good memories.
Yeah.
And with huge following. You'd be surprised.
Oh yeah, my neighbor has a '98 Toyota Supra that's like worth almost $200,000 or something silly. And I mean, there's like clubs, and I mean, people are bananas over the Toyota Supra. I'm like, who knew?
Yep.
Who knew?
There's still a lot of fans of the Toyota MR2. Guys, let us down in the comment section. Let us know some honorable mentions that we may have left out. Doesn't
for
matter
sure.
what time period.
And make sure you go over and you buy some Phoenix stuff and some BC stuff using the promo code NoDirection10 and hit the link down below to support the channel. So thank you.
We appreciate you all.
All right, you ready?
Time
Are
to,
you ready?
Since this might be the last time I talk to you guys.
Yeah,
I
let me get this
appreciate-
out of the way. So, in the 40s, the Willys MB military vehicle was the predominant model during the 40s, and the reason for that is because all manufacturing for cars was shut down to make this Jeep. It's the iconic Jeep that you see when you watch
World War II Willys.
the World War II Willys. Yeah, and I think they used them all.
I would love
They
to
used them
find
all. I
it.
think to the Korean.
Flop that front window down.
Right,
Oh,
they
yeah.
used them in the Korean War as well. I believe, pretty sure.
I think so.
From MASH. If
Yeah.
you see the MASH Jeeps and stuff
Yep.
like that. Yep. So that's
What
the
unit was that?
reason. 40.
What unit was that, MASH? Come on, you guys, MASH fans,
Yeah,
down in the comment section.
408, 405, something like that.
Wasn't it 4077?
4077.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you
Yep.
go.
Pulling her.
Yeah. Right.
Section 8.
Section 8. In the 30s, the Ford Roadster V8 was the popular car. In the 30s. In the 20s, the Chevrolet National AB. In the 20s, that's the car that is very iconic to mobster movies, the Prohibition. Whenever
Hanging outside with the Tommy guns.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The Untouchables. That was the car that was predominant in Chicago in the 20s.
Sean Connery.
Yeah, he was.
Yes.
Yeah. And then in the 1910s through 1919, the Ford Model T dominated the market, becoming the first affordable car for the masses. And the one that beat everybody to the punch in the 1900s was the Oldsmobile Curved Dash. That's the vehicle that when you see the black and white movies, and they got the little horn that whoop whoop, or the aruga.
Oh, that's how your mother likes it, back.
I'll take
boy.
anal
All
bomb
right,
covers
so
for 400.
Before we bite into this one, let's get all of our. So thank you again for spending some time with us.
Yep.
So much fun.
We do have a good time.
We do. We'll be down in the comment section throughout this whole thing, so you can.
And
make
this
fun
is
of
just
us.
the edited version. You should see what happens here the whole time that we're here.
Yeah, or maybe you don't want to.
Yeah, that's
All right, here we
fine.
go.
Are you sure we're doing this?
I'm gonna do it. I didn't think I'd get this far. Why the hell not?
I had faith in you. If you don't remember, I had faith in you. See, I'm rubbing it on my thing. You're
Thanks for
rubbing it
stopping
off.
by, guys. We appreciate each and every one.
No
of you.
direction detail.
No direction detail.
And Thor loves you.
Touch the tip.
That's a tip. All right, here we go. Here comes death. I can tell you right out of the gate, I don't like it. I don't like it. It's salty.
I don't like the taste, and I don't like the heat that's coming on.
I'm not feeling the heat just yet, but I know it's there. I can't even describe. It's like sour, saltiness.
It tastes like an old rubber boot filled with hot pepper cabbage.
I think Cajun was hotter than this one. I'm not really reacting a whole lot to it.
Well, this one reached the back of the throat, but it's not. You know, I thought I would be freaking out and not being able to handle it.
Yeah, me too.
I don't see any sweat. I don't see any snot.
Nothing. Oh. I'm a little disappointed
So am I.
in the tonic because the tonic on the scale, on the picture, on the menu, it was the only one that had 4 heats on it. This one was 3, and then I think the rest of them were like 2s, and then there was 0s.
Yeah, that took a step backwards.
Yeah.
I made it though.
You did!
I made it.
Congratulations, sir. That's awesome. You should, I don't know if you get a chance, I know it's on Phoenix's webpage. I don't know if Eddie's channel still exists.
The heat's building still a little bit.
Yeah, I can feel it rolling. But, dude, the bomb that I had, I thought it was going to kill me.
Yeah.
I was screaming. I thought I had muted the mic, and I didn't mute the mic, and I was screaming.
That stuff was. That stuff can be on a whole other level. It's still
The
building.
heat is still building.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I would do well, first of all, the flavor is gross. So I know I wouldn't want to order a lot of these at all. I'm never going to order them again, ever, but the flavor is gross, but the heat is definitely still
the
building.
heat's definitely still building.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And that was after all the other ones. Imagine if you would have just started off with that. My lips are burning.
Yeah. Well, I think that if you ever watch the YouTube show First We Feast Hot Ones, they have 10 wings lined up, and then the 8th wing is the bomb, and then supposedly, and they're supposed to go in ascending order of heat. The other two are supposed to be just are hotter than Da Bomb. But you look at the guest, and they don't react the same way as they do.
The nose is starting to run.
A little bit. You saw that?
Yeah. I'm telling you, it's still building.
It's underneath my tongue, which is weird, but that's where the heat's coming from. And anyway, I think they burn out your taste buds on the 8th one so that you can finish the show 9 and 10 because they don't react the same way.
Well, that is going to do it for this episode. We made it through. I didn't think we were going to, so sorry that the ending was a little disappointing.
Anticlimactic. I thought
I'm
for
going to
sure
blame
he was
that
gonna
on whatever hot wings place this is.
Yeah.
It's still building. You got a little bit of a sweaty brow going there.
Well, I think it's more.
You ingested more than I did.
I tried to think. I wanted to.
But that still burns. All right, guys. We love you all. We'll catch you in the next episode.
Yeah.
Bye.
See you.